Okay, see, it says live. Whoop, whoop.
Hi. Welcome to night 3. Tonight is Natasha, Tottie, Weston. Yay! This has been an amazing week, and like I said, tonight is night 3, and I just want to share a little bit about Natasha. I met Natasha a couple months back, and actually, she kind of coordinated with me. She saw something on my Instagram for my book, Confessions of a Glam Woman, and she said to me, she's just like, "I'll have something to share with you in a few months." And I was like, "Okay." And literally, when I saw her post her book, and I seen Confessions of an Ambitious Girl, and I was like, no way, like this is just too much in common. And long story short, like this is where we are, we connected, and I'm just so glad and out tonight. Natasha has amazing things going on. So tonight, Natasha is going to share with us how to brand our business. So Natasha, welcome to the Google Glam Hangout, and we can't wait to hear the juicy things that you have to share with us tonight.
Thank you so much, Tamika. I am equally as excited as you are about being here tonight. I've been looking forward to 8:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time all day long. You and I spoke on the phone this morning, and we shared lots of new details, as we always do with each other. And I'm just very blessed to have you in my life now. We've known each other for just a short amount of time, but it seems like we've known each other forever. Which is always a good thing, especially in business when your relationships can be so genuine and so organic. So I'm very excited. I'm happy that you invited me for this amazing week of Google Hangouts. This is actually my first time doing a live hangout in this format. So really excited. And tonight, I just want to share some information about two of my most favorite things to talk about, and that's obviously business and branding. And I really stumbled into branding as I grew my business. And so I just want to give you a little bit of history. Again, let me introduce myself again for those of you who may have missed the very beginning. My name is Natasha Tottie Weston, and I am the owner and founder of Eloquence Enterprises, which houses my personal brand, which is the Tottie Brand. And as Tamika just spoke about, the Confessions of an Ambitious Girl brand. And so I'm a 26-year-old entrepreneur, and I live here in Greenville, South Carolina. And I started my business out of New York City in April 2011. And I started my business in the PR, which is public relations industry. And tonight I want to share with you basically how I was able to start my business as really an intern, and how I found my purpose, which eventually allowed me to find my niche market for my business. And then as we get to the end of the hangout, I want to share with you how I have been able to brand myself over the last few years, and how I've gotten to where I am now as far as my business and my brand. So like I said, I started Eloquence Enterprises in 2011. I was in New York City for some internships. I was that person that took a one-way train to New York with no real plan, no real idea of what I wanted to do. I just knew that I had a desire to learn more about the fashion styling industry. And I didn't just pick fashion styling out of a hat. What happened was I was a nursing student, and I just decided that nursing was not a true passion of mine, and I was wasting my time and wasting my money, going to college for it. And so I eventually finished up the semester, and I moved back at home with my mom. And in the process of just being lost and not really being clear or have any direction on what I wanted to do, what career I wanted to have. And I looked at all of my friends who I graduated high school with, and they were, getting ready to graduate from college. And here I couldn't even finish college, and I had no idea what I wanted to do in life. And so here I am just doing research on my computer, trying to find a job. And eventually my love for fashion that I've always had kind of crept back up on me. And I found myself styling my friends and some of my family members, just, them calling me or sending me little pictures of outfits and asking for my opinion. And so through a long stream and stage of research, I landed an internship at BET Networks in the wardrobe department. And this is when 106 & Park was, kind of fresh on the map. And that internship eventually led to me interning with Kendrell Bowman, who is a celebrity stylist. He actually styled K. Michelle when she had the blue hair, And I interned with him, and that was an amazing opportunity. And long story short, I did several internships in the fashion industry. And it took me going to New York for fashion styling to realize that I truly did not have a passion for that particular career choice. And some people may laugh at that, but sometimes it does take you pursuing something to realize that you're really not passionate about it. And that's what happened with me in New York. So not long after I discovered that fashion styling was not something that I was interested in, I wasn't willing to do what it took to be a true fashion stylist. People look at that industry and that job as something that's glamorous. They think you just shop for clothes and all of that stuff. But I think it takes a really gifted and driven person and really talented and someone that's really passionate about that profession to actually have a successful career in it. And I realized very early on that that was something I did not want to do. So after I made that discovery, I noticed that in my free time, I did a lot of PR, which is public relations activity for some of the brands and businesses and professionals that I was working with or interning with. I noticed that I had a natural gift for pitching them to magazines or getting them featured on blogs and getting them media exposure on and offline. And it wasn't until maybe like 6 or 7 months into that I realized, why am I doing this for free? It was a lot of work and I was good at it. Like I literally was a newbie in the industry and I had people calling me, emailing me all the time, asking me, do you still do PR? I need a PR rep. I need a publicist, blah, blah, blah. And at that time, I didn't consider myself an expert because I had no college training, no professional training in public relations. But because I did it and I did it well for that short amount of time, I kind of subconsciously branded myself as someone that did PR. So even up until now, people that have not seen or talked to me in years, they still say, do you still do PR? So long story short, I started Eloquence Enterprises based off of PR because I wanted to start making some money. Okay, so if you've noticed now, I started in fashion styling, but the fashion styling was what opened the door and what pushed me into a place where I was able to network more, which eventually got me to starting my own business. So once I started my own business and I had done all that I wanted to do in New York City, I moved back home to South Carolina. And of course, these are two different states here, completely different people, completely different industries. And obviously, I didn't have the same success here when I came back as I did when I was in New York, obviously. And so I eventually had to get some jobs. I mean, I had pretty much every kind of job. I'm talking, I worked in a fireworks factory, packaging fireworks. I did a little bit of everything. And my last job was at a bank. And it was just really interesting that I had all of this knowledge and I was very gifted and talented. And I always knew that I wasn't supposed to be working on a regular job. That was just never in my DNA, just never in my blood. I absolutely hated it. I did it gracefully. But I always knew that I had a desire and I was born to do so much more. And so I worked my job for, gosh, maybe 2 years. And up until this past February, I worked my job and I also continued on with Eloquence Enterprises. I had added additional services that I could offer entrepreneurs and people who needed just some assistance in their business or in their lives. And I did a lot of assisting jobs. And I did that all while I worked my 9 to 5. I never quit running my business, but I did it on the side. But I always wanted to do it full time, but I just knew the timing wasn't right. And so fast forward to, gosh, 2000, I want to say the end of 2013 was when I really got a mindset shift, and I started thinking more long-term and started thinking really hard and heavy about my future. And I knew that I had to take some different action steps to get where I wanted to. And one of my main goals was to be able to one day quit my 9-to-5 and work eloquence and run my business full time and be able to rely on it 100% financially. But I did not rush and quit my job. But and some of you listening and on this Hangout, you may be able to relate. You always think about quitting your job, but then you ask, you say, God, can you give me confirmation? Can you give me confirmation? And he gives us every sign of confirmation, and we ignore those signs. And we do that because we're fearful. You see, our day jobs are a comfort zone. It's a safe haven, especially for our bills to get paid. So you don't want to even think about the thought of quitting your job and not be able to, pay your cell phone bill or keep up with your car payment or your mortgage. Most of us can't wrap our minds around how we would make ends meet, even with a plan. And so I was in that place. I asked God for all sorts of confirmation of when it was going to be time for me to quit my job. And guys, I got every sign in the book. And what happened was I ended up pregnant. And when I found out that I was pregnant, it was kind of like a light bulb went off. Okay, Natasha, you're going to need more than this 9-to-5 because you're barely making it with the 9-to-5. So what in the world are you going to do? You're bringing a child into the world now, so you need to come up with another plan. And it came to me as plain as day. Again, you have a lot to offer. You are very knowledgeable in a lot of things. Quit downplaying your gifts and talents and share them with the world. So around this time, I had started my own blog, Table Talk with Tottie, and the main focus for my blog was basically to share everything that I was interested in. And that was from business tips that I had learned over the years, entrepreneurship, fashion, books, just pretty much anything I was interested in. And I remember one of my very first posts was like a series of blog posts that I did on 10 ways to start your business with $0. And I realized that this was something that I was really almost an expert in because I had started my business pretty much with no money. Keep in mind, I was an intern in New York, so I did not have a job. I did not have any financial backing. I solely relied on my dad. He literally sent me money every week just to keep, pursuing my dreams while I was out in New York. Okay. And so I knew that I was good and I could tell people how to start a business. And even better, people would ask me, well, if I want to start a business, how do I do so? I can't, I don't have the credit to get a business loan right now, or I don't have the money to do this, or I don't have the money to do that. And so as I'm pregnant and I'm thinking about making some more money, the first thing that came to mind was, you're a great, excellent writer. You guest blog for Lauren Ridinger. You write your own blog posts. You contributed to several business blogs. Why on earth won't you write your own book? And of course, the thought of that scared me. And then I said, well, what would I write a book about? What do I have to say? And it came to me clear as day. You already have a book. You just need to get an outline and literally elaborate and share your experiences based off of that blog series that I did on the 10 ways to start your business. And guys, I literally wrote that book and self-published it within 6 months. When my son turned 3 months old, the book was released. And that was kind of like the launch into something completely different, a whole nother arena, which brings me to figuring out what your purpose is and figuring out how your business can not only make money, but how you can also help other people at the same time. And so what happened was once that book came out, people began to start looking at me as an expert in learning how to start a business or knowing how to start businesses with having very little or no funds. And so in that book, I pretty much break down like 10 different ways that you can get your business rolling before you even write a business plan. Crazy. And this was something, that book is not a year old, and guys, it's still selling like it just came out. And that's because it's purpose driven. It's something that I can tell you about and not have to write notes for. It's something that I can genuinely tell you because I've experienced it and I know how to do it. And so the fact that I was able to share this and now people are coming to me for more of this same type of information, I started to notice a pattern in the types of customers and clients that I was attracting, that people that wanted to work with me all had a lot in common. And these individuals were predominantly, female entrepreneurs who were either thinking about starting a business, they were interested in entrepreneurship, or they were just, up and coming and fresh in their prospective industry. So the second trend or pattern that I noticed was that the majority of these individuals were, they were, in the fashion industry where I had come from, they were in the beauty industry, or they were in the entertainment music industry. And so what I found as I built my business was that the audience that I was trying to target, I didn't have anything to offer them. And I'm talking about when I was in the PR industry. And this is why PR could not be my sole focus. I eventually got out of PR because I was not passionate. I didn't have a passion for it to the point where I wanted to do it every day. I did not want to do it every day. And so when I started noticing the pattern in the people that were coming to me for advice or coming to me to work with me, I said, it seems like new, aspiring, and up and coming entrepreneurs are more attracted to me without me even going out there and looking for them, because they know that I am an expert at starting a business. They know that I can keep their costs down when starting a business. And they know that I can give them solid, genuine, real life advice because I've experienced it on several occasions. And so here you have now my target audience is now attracted to what I'm doing. They're attracted to my expertise. They're attracted to the things that my God-given talents, the things that I'm gifted in. And so I'm not necessarily going out and looking for them. And so this is what I call organic attraction. And that means you're simply not out trying to hunt people down for them to buy your products, or you're not trying to hunt people down for them to work with you and to buy your services. And so when that happens, you can focus more on your business and what you can offer them versus spending all your time trying to find customers and clients. Be you, be organic, and your customers and clients will find you because they want what you have. They want a piece of the knowledge that you possess. And so I shared that story so that you can see that I started somewhere totally different from where I am now. And I'm just really getting started, guys. I'm just really getting into the real definition and really able to define who I'm here for, what I'm here for, and really get down to the bottom of my big why. And so I started Eloquence Enterprises in public relations. And now I have a totally different audience straight across the board. I'm talking about with the services that I offer, to the Tottie Brand, which is my personal brand, to now Confessions of an Ambitious Girl. My entire audience, my entire client and customer base has all the same demographic. They all come from similar backgrounds, and they're all interested in pretty much the same thing. So this makes it easier for my business because now I know who I'm targeting, which means I can create products and services for those people specifically instead of trying to target the entire world. The worst thing you can do when either starting a business or having a business is to say that if someone says, well, who are your products for? Who's your business for? Your answer should not be everyone. If your answer is everyone, then you need to start figuring out who you're here for and who's naturally drawn to you. And don't ignore the signs, because you usually are overlooking your target audience if you don't have one yet. And so that's pretty much what I wanted to share about business. And now I want to get more into another topic that people ask me a lot of questions about, especially recently since I've launched Confessions of an Ambitious Girl. Confessions of an Ambitious Girl was something, like Tamika told you, I had this vision was given to me maybe a year and a half ago, but I was scared to put it out there because I knew once I put it out, it would be something that was phenomenal. And honestly, I was afraid someone would steal it from me. Yeah, a lot of us think that. We don't do stuff because we think somebody's going to steal it from us. And so I sat on the vision for a very long time. And when the vision was given to me, I had no idea how to start it, had no idea how to finish it. I just simply wanted to write my book and share my story. And so they say be careful what you ask for, because even though I had now found my target audience for eloquence, I was still asking God, okay, show me, keep showing me my purpose, keep revealing to me what's the next piece of this puzzle that needs to go, because I knew it was more that I needed to do than to just, you know, offer new entrepreneurs services and help them to start their businesses. I wanted to do more. I wanted to now be a voice for so many girls who may have been struggling with the same things I struggled with, you know, coming up into the business and entrepreneurship world, or people that still may be struggling or need to just hear me share my story. So I knew there was more to me and more to my why than just Eloquence Enterprises. And so I started the Tottie Brand 2 years ago. And even with that, I still wasn't clear on what I was supposed to be doing. I just what was in it for me. And so when I started writing Confessions of an Ambitious Girl, it was like God just started literally dropping the pieces of the puzzle together. He was like, okay, now you can't sit on this anymore. I had my mentors tell me, Natasha, just put it out there, because if you don't put it out there, it's not going to do any good, and God is not going to drop the rest of your answers. So I literally said, okay, I'm going to set a date and I'm going to start talking about it. And I did that on December 1st of 2014. And I literally, everything that you see on Confessions of an Ambitious Girl is stuff that's genuine. It's stuff that I like. But if you notice, a lot of what you see has the black and white composition notebook, the pink and the black, and the composition notebook. I didn't just one day wake up, guys, and say, well, I'm going to make my brand pattern a black and white notebook. No, I didn't do that. The black and white notebook symbolizes my journey. I can't tell you how many black and white notebooks I've written in since 2011, since I dropped out of college. These black and white notebooks hold a lot of my story. They hold a lot of my ideas. And to this day, I still write everything down in black and white notebooks. And so when I did my book cover, of course, that's in the black and white composition, because these black and white notebooks literally are my life. And I know that that was what needed to symbolize my brand. And so everything you see now, from social media to anything, any flyers, you'll always see a hint of the black and white notebook. So I say that because you don't just pick something. It has to have symbolism. It has to mean something, because it's a part of your values. And every brand has values. And values are pretty much the decision makers. It's what you stand for. I stand for the black and white notebook because it's allowed me to write down some of my darkest secrets. It's allowed me to share a lot of my confessions within the pages of these black and white notebooks. It allowed me to write my first book. It's allowed me to write this book. And so the black and white notebook, it has symbolism. It has value to it. So that's one aspect of branding. The next aspect of branding that you want to consider, again, is your purpose. And your purpose is what drives you, what wakes you up in the morning. What is that thing that you wake up, the first thing you wake up and you start thinking about what you need to do today? That's your purpose. And that's also a very important part of branding. The third part is your promise. And it's the most measurable. It's like an accountability thing. Like, it means no matter what you're going through in life, rain, sleet, snow, shine, you're going to push your business, your brand, because you believe in it and you have made a commitment to your audience. Whether you have 5 people in your audience or 10 million people, you're committed to making sure that you deliver your why and you share your why with people. And guys, through all of that, you have a brand. And a brand is pretty much a person's perspective of your business or your product or your service or the experience, whether it's an event. People look for details. It's all in the details. And so I want to share 3 points with you on branding. 2 points, actually. Consistency is everything. And I tell my clients this all the time. You can't one day hop on social media. And I'm using social media because a lot of people use it now. You can't just hop on social media today and post a flyer with the colors green, black, and blue. And then next week or tomorrow, you're posting a picture and your fonts are black, blue, and purple. People get confused. People don't want to follow you anymore because they're not clear, because they know you're not clear. So things that small, the detail is all in the details. Everything that you do with your brand, down your logo, your colors. For Confessions of an Ambitious Girl and Eloquence, the color pink that I use the exact same pink on everything. And to tell you how serious I am about branding, I have a little sticky note over here by my desk, and it has the color code, the RGB code, because in Word you can't use the color code. You have to use, so it's really detailed. Everything has to be detailed. Like I said, on every flyer you're going to see the black and white notebook. I try to use most of the same fonts. If I'm using like an app or something, sometimes you can't get exact, but you get as close to it as you possibly can. And that's because people are paying attention to detail. I want to see consistency. And you see is literally everything. Another thing, and this is probably going to be my last point for this, you can't be a brand part-time. It must be a lifestyle. Okay, what do I mean by that? You can't wake up one day and say, well, I want people to perceive me to be a motivator, and I want them to see me as a really positive person, and I want, when people think about me or when people hear my name, I want them to say, well, she's a businesswoman and she's all about business. But then next week, you're on Instagram blasting out your baby's daddy, or you're cussing out your neighbor on Facebook, or you're cussing and carrying, you know what I mean? You can't be a brand part-time. It has to be a lifestyle. And that shouldn't be hard if you're doing it genuinely. It shouldn't be hard if what you're doing is genuine and from the heart and organic. It shouldn't be hard. So don't wake up one day and think that you could just be a certain way one day and then you're portraying to the world a completely different person the next day. You want to be you, yes, but you also have to keep in mind others' perception of what you're offering. That goes back to the definition of branding. Branding is someone else's perspective of what you are and what you're offering. And so you can't be a brand part-time. You have to make it a lifestyle, and all of your decisions, you have to consider your audience, the people that are attracted to you. Because at the end of the day, the people, your audience, they're the ones that are allowing you to even be where you are. They're the ones that's putting money in your pocket because they're buying your products, they're buying your services, they're coming to your events. So make sure in every decision that you make in your business and brand that you consider them and not always consider yourself. Because at the end of the day, we're here to serve the world. Yes, we want to make money. Yes, we want our businesses to prosper, but they won't truly prosper if you are only thinking about you. It's not about us at the end of the day. It's about who we can help. If we could just change one life and touch one person through what we're doing and what we're offering through our business and through our brand, you've done a whole lot and you're fulfilling your purpose. And so I hope I tried to cover all of my points, especially with branding, because I don't consider myself a branding expert. I think, like I said, because it's something that is purpose driven, I don't really think about it. It's just kind of being done. And I try to take notes and make really good points and write down notes on things that I've noticed that I do consistently that people are attracted to. And it really has made all the difference in my business. And so I hope that my story and some of the tips that I've shared actually help you guys that are hanging out with us tonight, because I really want you to understand that at the end of the day, this stuff isn't rocket science if you're doing it on purpose. And I mean on purpose as in literal, like on purpose. Like if you're doing it not because somebody else is doing it or not because you think it's cool, then it'll be effortless. Like you'll just get it. And I noticed that with some of the other ladies that, have been on the Hangout this week. What they do is from the heart. It's genuine. It's authentic. And so it's effortless for them. And that's why people see them as experts in their respective industries. People come to them for a certain thing because that's what they were born to do. And so it's not forced. It's not faked. It's real and it's genuine. And that's at the end of the day what we all want to do, especially in industries that are so saturated. You have so many makeup artists, so many hairstylists. But what are you going to do that's going to set you apart? And usually that's the thing that's just comes so natural to you. Find that thing and market on it, brand it, make it your own, and you'll be amazed at how far your business will go. And that's just really been my experience, Tamika.
You know what, Natasha, when people always say, I don't know my passion. What is my passion? And I always say what you said. What keeps you up at night? What wakes you up early in the morning? Like for me, I toil with a lot of things because I know how to do so many things. I'm like, what is that one key thing? But for me, not knowing that, me getting fired from my job over 6 years ago,
Oops, I think we're getting kind of cut off here. Tamika, can you hear me?
I was looking at here, like I said, don't quit your day job. And for me, after losing my job and going back into the field years later, I promised myself that I would not allow myself to get lost into anybody else.
Right.
So what happened is, that's when the book came out, things like that. So, like, what would you suggest, Natasha, like, what people can do, during their 9 to 5?
One of the things, and I always go back to purpose. I suggest purpose is something that you obviously won't get overnight. And it's something that I believe is dropped in your life in bits and pieces. So I suggest, if you believe in God, to start praying to whoever you pray to, and start asking for direction. Start asking for clarity as far as where you should even start. And I believe that if you even have an idea, start with that idea. And like I was telling Tamika this morning, before you even finish with that idea, if you're asking God to show you what to do next, to show you your purpose, then before you're even done with one thing, he'll drop something else in your lap. So that's one thing I believe is the starter for anything, because you, like I said, you want your business to be authentic, even from the beginning, if you can help it. Another thing that you can do, the question was, when you're starting a business, what can you do starting out, right?
Yeah, like you said, when you're in that 9 to 5, like I said, when I went back into the workplace, and I was just like, okay, this time I will not, I'm being about to myself, I will not lose myself, in this job. And in the 4 years that I was there, a book came out of me, my speaking engagements came out of me. So when that voice came back to me, when God was telling me to move, and it was just like, okay, of course you hear you get a little nervous, but it's just like he had prepared me within those 4 years to say, okay, Tamika, I've given you the tools, now you can move. Either you can stay here and be comfortable with this 9 to 5 job and this these finances, or you can go ahead and move out and do what it is that I've called you to do with these things that I've given you.
Right. You're working your 9 to 5. So, back to your question, one thing that I always recommend to people, working in limited all the time, especially if you have children and a family to come home to take care of. One thing I always recommend is committing to putting aside a certain amount of time. I don't care if it's 20 minutes a day when the children go to sleep. I don't care if you have to wake up 30 minutes early. Whatever you have to do, start setting some time aside to just sending out an email, reading a chapter in a book that can give you knowledge on your industry or the things that you want to do, even if it's an inspirational book. Next point, read as much as you can. We live in a day where nobody wants to read. Nobody wants to read. The only thing we read are blogs and what's on the TV, but there's power in reading. And a lot of times the answers that we're looking for is in a book. So find books you can get books on Amazon. Sometimes I get books for a penny plus shipping. Books are very inexpensive. So find a book by someone who writes in a style that you are comfortable with and that you can understand, and read books on what you're interested in. There are so many books out there that, gosh, that I sometimes read over and over again. Every book that you see up here, including your book, I have 3 or 4 times. And it's because it's information that I constantly use and I constantly have to be reminded about. I mean, books from Secrets to the Millionaire Mind, Blue Ocean Strategy, Wholesale, I have blogging, things that I'm passionate about, how to make $1 million online, things that I'm passionate about that obviously you can't attain all the knowledge in one read. Keep books around you that you can read on your lunch break. If you work a job, on your lunch break, that is a good time to read while you're eating your lunch. So read as much as you can. Another thing that I suggest people doing, a lot of information is now on the internet. And on top of us not wanting to read, a lot of us are lazy and we don't want to look for answers. But with Google being free and accessible, and there's so many resources online that are free and open to the world and open to you, a lot of times we are waiting for someone to provide us with an answer when we can get online and literally search. Don't think anything is dumb or stupid or to search. You can literally type exactly how it comes in your mind, type it in the Google search box, and you'll be amazed at all of the responses you'll get. And in those responses, you'll probably find a solution for you getting your business started. You might find an idea through reading someone's blog, or you might get connected with someone on social media who's doing something similar to what you want to do. And you'll get all sorts of suggestions, and you can piggyback on what that person is doing. So utilize Google, utilize the internet. The next thing I always, because I'm a social media freak, I love social media. Use social media and don't be afraid of it. Now, I'm not telling you to get on there and you have to post all day long, because some people don't want to do that. But at least get familiar with, Facebook and Twitter and Instagram at least. And use it. I've met so many amazing people like Tamika. We met on Instagram. And now we're building a business relationship and a friendship that God knows how far it's going to go. And it's usually in relationships, guys, that's going to push you to the next place. It's building with people. Everybody's on social media, whether you like it or not. So if you're not on social media, guys, get on social media. I built an audience of over 10,000 people in the last 5 years solely on social media, collectively, through all of my social media sites. Now, I don't interact with them all, but I at least have a base, a following of, if I want to share something, I at least know somebody is going to reach someone. And that's the easiest. It's free, it's easy, and you just have to take the time to learn it. Don't run away from it and don't be intimidated by it. Utilize it. It's so many different aspects to social media. And that's something you can do while you're working your 9 to 5. While I worked, I kept Facebook up on one screen. I hope my old boss isn't watching. I kept Facebook up during my breaks. I made sure I checked my Instagram before. Let me tell y'all something that I did. Every morning, I would wake up 20 minutes early before I had to go to work, before I got dressed, and I would literally write down stuff that I wanted to post on Instagram throughout the day. And I had a strategic time. We had a break at 10, we had lunch at 12, and we had a break at 3. And those were the times during the day when I made my posts on Instagram, on Facebook, and on Twitter. That way I wasn't absent from social media even while I worked my job, but I was still sharing my business with the world. So naturally, when you get off work, now you have people that are emailing you. They want to know how they can work with you. And so now you have while you're at work. So it's really all about committing to time, putting time aside. I 5 could be a little distraction. It could be, something that you feel might be holding you back. Really much as you can while you're working in 9 to 5, if you're committed and serious about it. I really believe it depends on the person. If you're serious about it, you'll make it happen.
And to kind of piggyback off of that, what you just said, it kind of takes me again to your chapter 7, which is adapt to do-it-yourself attitude. I think that's perfect to adapt a do-it-yourself attitude. So can you elaborate, a little bit about that topic in your book?
Yeah. Yeah, adapting a do-it-yourself attitude is excellent and it's ideal for a beginner. You know, either if you just have an idea for a business, if you just started a business. I personally, and some people may disagree with this, I feel you do as much as you can on your own. Why? Because you don't have the finances to hire people right now. And I feel like when you're building the foundation for your business, who better than to be as hands-on with it as you? Because you know, if you're like me, you know how you want things to look, you know how you want things to feel, you know how you want things to smell. And so when you're really the most intricate part of your business, because now you're setting up the strategies, you're putting the systems, you're creating your presentation. And so you know what you want the world to see. And so why not be that person to find ways to create your own logo, do your own business cards. If you can, do your own website. There are just so many different things. Like, it goes back to internet. There's so many free things. And guys, if you don't know how to do something, YouTube is here. Me and Tamika were talking about YouTube this morning. YouTube is going nowhere. So this video that's posted is going to be there forever, as long as YouTube is in existence. And there's videos on everything. So if you don't know how to create a little simple logo, get on YouTube and see what people are doing. See if someone can walk you through how, and I'm not saying use the logo for years to come, because obviously as your business grows, you'll have to, you know, revamp and rebrand and you know, elevate. But something to start off with, something simple. If you don't know how to do it, get on YouTube and find somebody that can show you. Another thing, basic social media management skills. There are several. Some people may say, because I work my 9 to 5, I don't have time to post all day. Or they may not want to sacrifice 20 minutes in the morning like I did to schedule my post. So they have different software like Hootsuite. And I use that now for all of my businesses. Guys, I don't sit on Facebook all day and post. I schedule everything on social media a week in advance. I spend my Sundays mapping out what I need to get out to the world. If I have any products launching, if I have any events coming up, everything's scheduled. And you can schedule it randomly, or you can schedule it down to the minute. And so that's free for a certain amount of social media sites. And so if you're a beginner, you can use that for free. So that's just another way. Another thing, like I said, graphic design. Hop on YouTube and see what people are doing. When I started my business, guys, I didn't have any money. I worked my job and it was just enough to pay my bills and my car note. I didn't have money to hire a graphic designer. I didn't have money to hire a publicist. And that brings me back to PR, why PR played a major role in my life. Because I did it for other businesses and professionals, when I started my own business, I didn't have a problem learning how to knowing how to write and send off a press release. Because through internships and experience, I had already known how to do it. So now I know how to pitch myself to the media. If I want to get on a blog or a magazine, I know how to pitch myself if I wanted to. And so also another great thing to do is, if you can, do some internships, work for free, bring some credibility to things. There's nothing wrong with interns. People think, well, I'm not working for free. Well, guys, sometimes you got to do that. Sometimes you have to do some free work to get the experience, so that when you do apply those skills that you've done on somebody, apply it to your own. And that's what I did with PR. And that's why PR is still so very dear to me, because it played a major role. And those are just a couple of aspects of how you create that, get a do-it-yourself attitude. And now, like I said, when your business starts to grow and grow, and you start getting customers and clients, and things start really building and moving for you, first of all, you're not going to have time to do everything yourself. One day you'll probably have to get an intern or an assistant. But now, while you're fresh and you're building, do as much of it as you can yourself if you can't afford to hire anyone else. So that's just a little bit about doing your own do-it-yourself attitude. I think everybody that's starting off should try to duplicate that.
Absolutely. And then too, another thing, I kind of love what you share in chapter 5, which is network. And that's a big key to business is networking. It's just like you cannot get your brand or get yourself out there staying behind this computer. You know, you have to come from behind this computer and network, you know, and be more hands-on with some of your fan base as well. So it's nothing more rewarding, or like when you actually meet someone that follows you or, you know, buys your product and they actually could see you in person and say, hey, you know, I love your product, you know, I love what you're doing. So I think, you know, that's another big key too, Natasha.
Yeah, I agree with that, Tamika. You're right. We can't do everything behind the computer. And even though sitting behind a computer is the most comfortable place because you can sit in your pajamas, you don't have to talk to anyone face to face if you don't want to, I think we've gotten away from the one-on-one interaction. And that's something I had to work on personally, because I do a lot of work online. A great deal of my business is ran online. And so it's easy to get away from interacting with people one-on-one. And even now, as a matter of fact, today I was supposed to meet me and one of my my friends, Pollyanna Reed. She's in Canada. And when we first started chatting, it's funny because I had just started saying, you know what, I'm going to stop doing phone conferences if I can. Whatever happened to Skype meetings and talking to people on Skype? So when we talk every couple of months, and we do it on Skype. Not just because she's in Canada, but because we both feel that the face-to-face interaction is everything. It's everything, because you can see someone's emotion. You can really talk to them and see where they're coming from if you're face-to-face with them, whether it's, you know, between a computer or face-to-face in person. And so networking is key because it's all about relationships too. Like, there are people that, gosh, I have not seen or heard from since my New York days 3 years ago. And now, even though I hadn't talked to them in that long period of time, because we've kept each other's phone numbers and email, and we follow each other on social media, and we see what each other's doing. We might not physically talk on the phone all the time, but now we're reaching out to each other and we're talking about possible business partnerships and things. So I say that because sometimes you can meet someone this year and you may not come into contact. You guys may not collaborate or even have a business relationship truly for years to come, but because you have built the relationship, I'm talking about not just meeting someone, but I'm talking about when it's their birthday and you see their birthday, shoot them an email, happy birthday. Or if they, you know, have accomplished something in their business or in their life, if they've had a baby, if they've gotten married, just shoot them a quick text and say congratulations. And things like that build solid, genuine friendships that eventually turn into business relationships. And so you can't do that if you don't network. So I always share, and I try to tell people, if you can, try to go to at least one event a month in whatever city you live in. Or if you live close to Atlanta, like, just try to go to some things. I'm not saying to go to things all the time, but try to go to some things and try to, even if it's at a nightclub with people who you might have stuff in common with, take some business cards and put them on the bar. I mean, it's just so many ways that you can network offline. And I suggest you do that so you can start building friendships. Sometimes don't just, you know, want to sit in a business meeting. If you see you have something in common with somebody, offer them a night out on the town. Come hang out with me. And just being like friends and being genuine with people, it just builds relationships that will benefit both of you, in, you know, for many years. And so networking is definitely important.
And to this, that takes me back to live events, you know, going to conferences, you know, with like-minded women, because that's where you will find most women in business. You know, she may have a PR business or somebody, you know, but that may be something that you may need to take your business to the next level. So like I said, getting out, you know, and networking at these social events and conferences. So that's kind of like, I'm going to lead that into Natasha. She has an event that's coming up in June, and I will be a speaker there. And I can't wait to, you know, come and share and network. But more about this event that's coming up on June 19th. So just let all the guests know, how, networking and getting into live events that you have planned.
Yes, we have our first Confessions of an Ambitious Girl weekend coming up June 19th through June 21st in Greenville, South Carolina. And it's going to be amazing. It's going to be a really intimate girls weekend. Tamika's going to be coming to town, and then I have a few other young ladies that are coming. We have Chris Hopkins, Erica Ray.
Natasha? We have a little difficulty, but I believe we are going to get her to log back on, guys. Because she definitely has some amazing things to talk about for this event. So she's in the process of trying to log back on. So as she said, this event that she has coming up, which is June 19th to the 21st, which is in Greenville, South Carolina, and it's going to be a fun-filled weekend. She has some guest speakers coming in, and of course, she shared one of the guests coming in, and she also has a mastermind group that's going to be going on that weekend with Natasha Von Johnson. That whole thing going on over there. So that's going to be a mastermind group for women who want to start business, who have products or want to, start a product, want to start a fashion line. So, those are some of the things that, will be going on that weekend. Like if that's something that you want to start, or if that's something that you want to do, it's definitely the place to be if you're in the South Carolina area. I know travel may be kind of, difficult for a few, but if you are in the North Carolina, South Carolina area, I would love to see your faces. I love to meet you, and Natasha would love to meet you as well, to join us for that event that's going on November. No, I'm sorry, not November. I get November from June 19th to the 21st. She has amazing things going on. So as I said, I can't wait to see you guys if you are able to make it out there. And I believe she's trying to get back on to the Hangout. And you guys, we are almost at the end. And I believe Natasha is on this video call. Natasha? I believe I see her. I see she popped back up. For those of you who have been with us all week, I'm just so grateful that you all have tuned in with us for day 3 with Natasha. She definitely has put in nuggets with us who have shared a lot of how she got started, what she's doing. You got some nuggets from out of all of these 3 days, and some of the things that Natasha has shared with us. If you've had that burning desire to start something, I just say start somewhere. Just start with one thing. Don't let the multiple ideas of trying new things, confuse you. Pick that one four and just start writing under chapter 4 and just go from there. So it's just like whatever you feel, you want to plug in, just start there. There's no right and there's no wrong. Just writing, because what you have, someone else may need to hear. So as long as you keep it to yourself, nobody's going to ever hear it. Nobody will ever know your name if you keep it to yourself. And we all have something to share, no matter what it is. We may think, oh, I don't know enough, or or the fear of, like you said, what if it's not? We all have a gift, some in some sort, that can be shared that somebody else doesn't know. So I would just say, Natasha, can you hear me? Natasha? Can you hear me?
Oh my God. Like, that was crazy. Can
Oh
you
my
see
God.
me?
Yes, I see you and I hear you.
Guys, I am so
I've been
sorry.
talking, and I've been sharing a little bit about, whatever that desire is that you have. I said the world is waiting for you, So I was just sharing, if they have that book in them, just start somewhere. So, I was trying to, keep it plugged in, but I really wanted them to know more about what was going on with your event this weekend. So if you can share with that again before we got that lost signal about your event coming up in here.
Technology, right?
Right.
Yeah, my computer just shut down on me. I don't know what happened. I hope it doesn't do it again. But guys, let me talk about it very quickly. As I was saying, the Confessions of an Ambitious Girl weekend is June 19th through June 21st in Greenville, South Carolina. If you want to purchase tickets actually, ticket sales end on next Friday at 11:59 p.m. Eastern. So if you want to come, definitely grab your tickets before that date. After that, tickets will not be available anymore, because we're trying to keep the event as intimate as possible. We're going to have amazing panelists there like Miss Tamika, and we're going to be doing vision board party, girls night, pajama jam, brunch. We're going to just be having like a lot of fun. So you definitely want to come. And I was saying before my computer cut off that oftentimes we blame the fact that we don't do certain things on lack of money or we don't have time. But guys, to be honest, we don't have enough money to do anything. You know what I mean? If you think about it, there's a lot of things that we want to do. Now is the time where you have to prioritize, and it goes back to what Tamika was saying about attending live events. Live events aren't cheap. Going to conferences sometimes aren't cheap. But in order for you to get to new heights in life, you sometimes have to invest and figure out where you need to be to get to the next level. And so I look forward to meeting a lot of you in June, and grab your tickets. And the website is eventbrite.com.
Okay, say it again, Natasha. You kind of broke up a little bit.
So definitely grab your tickets.
Natasha?
Okay, what'd you say?
You say it one more time because you kind of went out on the last part. Say the website again.
Okay, it's COAAG weekend .eventbrite.com. So that's COAAG weekend .eventbrite.com. Could you hear me? Hello, are you still there? This darn technology.
Still there, Natasha?
Yes, now I can hear you again.
You can hear me?
Did you hear the website? I can hear you now.
Yes, I heard the website, and I just wanted to leave. I want you to share just a little nugget. What would you like to leave the guests with? One thing you would like for them to know. What would you leave them with?
I'll leave you with this. I want to say 98% of the time, the reason why we don't follow our dreams is because we're self-sabotaging them. What I mean by that, right now, several of you want more in life. You want to pursue certain things, but in the back of your mind, you're not confident about what you want to do. You don't have to be sure about what you want to do, but yourself, and you're telling yourself you're not qualified, you're not pretty enough, you're not skinny enough, you don't have the credentials, you're not going to make it that far. We tell ourselves these things. So I'll leave you with this. Stop self-sabotaging your dreams. You're the reason why you're not taking action steps towards where you want to be in life. Let's stop self-sabotaging ourselves. Let's stop self-sabotaging our own positivity. And let's start believing in ourselves for real, because nobody's going to make your dreams come true but you. So I'm going to leave you with that.
Amen. Amen. That's awesome. Amen. And I am your host, Tamika McFall. And I thank you guys again for hanging in there with us and working with us through these difficulties and these technical difficulties. Natasha, we thank you for joining us again. Where could our guests find you? How could they, find you on your social media again? So could you please share with everybody how they can connect with you?
Absolutely. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Official Tottie, and that's 2 T's, not 2 O's. And that's at Official Tottie on Twitter and Instagram. You can also follow Confessions of an Ambitious Girl on Instagram at Confessions of an Ambitious Girl. We're also on Twitter at _COAAG. You can also search Confessions of an Ambitious Girl on all social media using hashtag COAAG. Of course, we're on Facebook, the Tottie Brand. Everything's on Facebook. You can search as my name and everything. You can find it. We're also on YouTube, guys. I'm getting ready to post some new videos that everybody's been asking for on different topics. So subscribe to my YouTube channel and to the Confessions of an Ambitious Girl YouTube channel, because we have a lot of good videos and stuff coming out. So definitely subscribe and thumbs up. and let me know in the comments like what types of videos you'd like me to talk about, topics and everything, and I'll be more than happy to share some more information with you guys through YouTube. So of course you can visit the website, and that's confessionsofanaambitiousgirl.com. Join our mailing list, and yeah, that's pretty much how you can reach me.
Thanks again, Natasha, and thank you for joining us. And you can hear more from Natasha on this Friday, because this Friday will be our finale, and I will be heading out the finale. But all of my girls will be coming back to hang out with me on Friday, and she will be one of them. So thanks again for joining us for another night of the Google Glam Hangout, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow night, which is Crystal Nunn, and she will be sharing with us how to get financially fit. Yes, girls, we got to get our money right. So see you